So today we're going over justice and the common good. Super fun stuff. It's been a real joy. Which makes the most sense? Sandel's argument that the public reasons aren't sufficient to inform political reasoning, or Professor Matt's argument that public reasons are sufficient to inform political reasoning, and in fact, when used rather than non-public reasons, promote mutual respect and stability. Well, public reasons being things anyone can appreciate, and non-public reasons being only relevant to fellow believers, I think I'm gonna go with Professor Matt's argument working best. Yep. Sandel encourages the use of reasoning that can only be accepted and appreciated by select groups when making decisions that impact people even outside of these groups. That's no good. He insists that religion and morality can't be discarded, even when you're trying to. And so we should include it in these political discussions. But these non-public reasons only apply to other people who accept them as valid and important. And if it doesn't apply to these other people, then it kind of kicks them from the discussion. But the results of the discussion impact them. It's important that they be included. But how do you argue with someone if they're using religion and you aren't? You know, it's really difficult, let me tell you. It's very, very difficult. So it's best to use reasons that everyone can appreciate because it keeps the discussion relevant to everyone involved, which means that everyone impacted is able to take part and participate. And on to the second part. Which of Sandel's approaches to political philosophy is most appropriate and best? Liberty, freedom, utilitarianism, consequences, or virtue, character? And what do you mean by most appropriate and best? Well, I define most appropriate and best as meaning it would lead to, while not necessarily everyone getting what they want, everyone getting what they need. And then now this is where I diverged a bit. Which of Sandel's approaches is most appropriate and best? Well, none of them. Compromise is the food of life. Bear with me. All three of Sandel's approaches are the legs on the end table. And if you take one or two away, you no longer have a table, you've got some wobbly slabs of wood. By discarding utilitarianism, consequences, and liberty freedom completely, Sandel is disregarding the potential for true equilibrium. Utilitarianism, the greatest happiness for the greatest number, is no good on its own. It doesn't make for a complete table. He's entirely correct. You can't set anything on it by itself. There's no balance. But if we do our due diligence and pair it up with a proper balance of the freedom to choose, liberty, freedom, and cultivating the common good, virtue, character, then we have a nice little end table to set our houseplants on so they get the proper amount of sunlight right by the window. I mean, there's a reason that America isn't a true democracy. We're like a democratic republic because it doesn't work, really. The being subject to the will of the majority, it's bad for the minority groups, but it kind of works in some ways. So we balance it with other things that are also important. You know, you gotta get a nice balance, do all those compromises, and that is most appropriate and best. That is how you make sure everyone gets what they need, and that would even probably get most people what they want, because they would have a lot of that freedom to choose, and there would be trying to get to that common good, and there would be trying to get the greatest happiness as much as possible, just not to the extent of feeding people to lions. You know, you draw a line when you're going for balance. There's that common good coming in to draw the line. So yeah, no, I think Sandel was wrong in trying to choose one. I'm a 19-year-old undergrad, yes, but I think he's wrong.